What's going on, YouTube? This is Squids, and we've got another week and another episode of Oshi no Ko. And let me tell you, delicious. You literally though, this show does not miss a beat all 3 weeks so far. Like we're talking animations on par, soundtracks on par, even the script from writing off the manga is on par. Like they're doing fantastic. And to say that everything that they've worked for isn't earned would be an understatement. And oh man, they did so good. Like there's even some like references and things in this episode that I really and thoroughly enjoyed. I mean, granted, for the most part, I knew what was going to happen considering I have actually seen or read the source material. It's nice to see things acted out because, like, you can guess the voices and everything in your head. However, you just never know because, hey, it could be anybody, whoever they feel is right. And that's something that I find really neat. So, we start off this episode literally pretty much beat for beat right after the last episode with Ruby and Aqua talking to our favorite child actress, Kana, and, pretty much Ruby right off the bat's like, yeah, my brother's got a sister complex. He just came to the school because, you want to make sure I stayed out of trouble. and then they kind of like whisper to each other, and Aqua makes her realize that they go to this school that Kana's like, that she's actually going to be her senpai. So she calls Kana Loli senpai, and of course that pisses her off, but it's freaking hilarious. But right after that, Aqua leaves without Ruby, and he's walking, and Kana's kind of following him, trying to make conversation, kind of figure out what he's up to for the last 10-11 years now. And she's asking him to go to karaoke, and she's asking him if he wants to either that or go to her house, because obviously as a quote famous actress, unquote, you can't just go anywhere because people are going to want to talk to you. So she ends up freaking pretty much getting him to take her to the director's house because he kind of understands now, and he's Aqua's not a complete D-bag. He just wants to figure out his mom's murder and which totally understandable, I wouldn't call him a bad friend. He's just, wanting to get one thing done. So right after that, we go to the director's house, and, freaking director's like trashing her, saying, I was wondering how you've been. She's like, I've been kind of acting. And she, like a few times in this episode where she just gets stabbed with words. And it's pretty golden, not gonna lie to you. But they kind of go, and, Aqua's doing his assistant directing, editing clips and everything, while Kana's just kind of looking at his shelf of, I would assume, films. I don't think they're mangas. They might be, though. And he kind of tells her, I'm just doing assistant directing. I haven't acted in a while. And she asks the director if she has anything of his that would be acting. And Aqua's like, you better not show her. And kind of like right before that, obviously the mom's feeding them all. And she makes the same comment that Aqua does last episode with the director, saying, like, I didn't think you'd be parasiting off your mom like this. And the way that they do her eyes, like, almost exactly manga style, with the crisscrosses and the filling. Oh, it looks so nice. So nice. But they, kind of finish eating dinner, and, like, right after that, she tells him that there's this manga that she's going to be acting in. Or, like, live action adaptation of this manga that they're going to adapt, called I'll Go With Sweet Today. And if I remember correctly, quote me if I'm wrong, because I haven't gotten exactly up to date, but I'm pretty sure this is the same manga referenced in Love is War. And that's a really cool Easter egg. I love when series do that, because this is like, hey, if you're paying attention, here's this. Kind of like Soul Loop did with Ochi before Bochi was a thing. That was kind of neat too. But so they reference that, and it's actually one of Aqua's favorite mangas, I guess. And or maybe not necessarily favorite. He's just got it in his room and everything. And she's gonna be the main actress in it, or she is, because I think there's one episode left they have to film. And she was wondering if Aqua wanted to play the role, and Aqua's just denying it, and he doesn't want to do it because he's dedicated to find this out without having to get too much dirty and gritty. But right before he even thinks about that, he goes to a flashback about these 3 phones that I left when she died. And one was a personal, one was a work, and one was her old phone before she even had Ruby and Aqua. And we come to find out, like, it took Aqua 4 years to get this passcode for her phone. And, like, we're talking, if I remember correctly, he says something along the lines of 45,000 attempts. Because between that and, like, everything, he says it's like each failed attempt is a 30-second lockout. And on top of that, it's not a set amount of numbers. So 45,000 tries over a goddamn, I think it's 4 years. Asinine, crazy, but he dedicated and he figured it out. So he unlocks the phone and he's kind of scrolling through, and it shows this list of freaking names of, possible victims, or not victims, possible people that could have been accomplices, or, his father, essentially his father. And right after that, he agrees to it after he finds out who's directing it, which is Masia, what the heck's his last name? Kaburagi? And he was one of the names on the phone, from his cell phone. So obviously he agrees to it, he's like, fine, whatever, I'll do it just because, mentally he just wants to get in and get a DNA test of whatever he can to see if he's the father. And so he gets home, and obviously Mother Dearest, Miyako, freaking tells Ruby that he got a role, and obviously Ruby's reminiscing, his mom said one day, I'd be an idol, maybe you'd be an actor. And so the two of them check out this series online, and needless to say, before they even finish that, we get this flash to Kana sitting in this like a flat with just cans of food everywhere, her sitting in this corner, and she's just, just thinking about how people only think about themselves, which is funny because that's what Aqua's doing, even though he's going to work with Kana. And so freaking Ruby is watching this film, and she's like, the direction's okay. And I'm not saying it's unwatchable, but it's kind of shit. And so we see Kana and Aqua go out to karaoke finally, and she kind of explains what's happened over the last 10 years, how people stopped casting her because, she wasn't young anymore, and she felt like she was past her peak. And we get to kind of see what's been kind of going on at this casting, kind of sort of behind the scenes. The sad thing is that she thinks, so I'm not gonna spoil that yet, we're getting there, but she's like, she's getting into this because she has talent, and the director's got her, and he sees everything. But she gets this really sad, droopy moment with this awesome glare, and it just really accentuates the sorrow that she has inside of her. And she's like, I kind of know how the director felt now back then. And the show's crew's excellent, and we kind of just cut right after that, really kind of in-depth dramatic scene, and we get to the set, and it's raining, it's droopy, it's in a shed, and we meet the main actor of the show as he's walking through, and he's just kind of a douchebag that just pushes Aqua out of the way and doesn't really say anything except from behind. We kind of get the gist that's kind of the feel around this studio, because it's the 3 main male roles are for promotionals to get them in other things, so the director doesn't really care that much. And Aqua meets the director, and he's like, whatever, yada yada yada, don't really give a fuck, walks away. And we get to see the scene filmed, and Aqua's doing great. We don't get to hear the dialogue, however, but the scene ends halfway through because a raindrop gets on Pretty Boy's hair. And Right after that, Kana is talking to Aqua and telling him how just amazing his job was, even though he feels like anybody could have done it. But she still thinks he's doing freaking fantastic, and she's praising him. Granted, like I said earlier, it's 100% a crush. She'd be stupid not to think so. And then on top of it, just the fact that there's somebody who's also so dedicated about something that she's so passionate about. She wants to get that out of Aqua, which is really cute. But Aqua's standing around this corner trying to figure out an idea to get some DNA samples, and he sees the director smoking, and like he's gonna obviously pick up a cigarette but once he's done, but he's overhearing this conversation at the moment, and he's like, pretty much he's telling him, the other guy, I don't know if he's the director, because I think, or the producer, or somebody, he's pretty much telling him, her performances are dirt cheap because she's independent now, she's not on a label, and she's a great actress, but like they're not even looking for that in the first place because they're trying to advertise the male roles. So Aqua knows that sadly her perception of everything is fucked, because really with that scene in her apartment, it's almost as if deep down she knows that it wasn't for her talent, and it's sad and it sucks because she clearly has grown as a character in this world, but still, people just need people for things, and it is sad reality. But right after that, Aqua goes there, grabs the 3 cigarette butts, puts them in a baggie to get the DNA sample, and he gets ready to do his role and go out with a bang because he hears exactly what they were saying. And I guarantee next week we're going to see some shit go down. Oh my god, they did such a good job on this episode, and it's just, every week is a new adventure, and I cannot wait till next week's episode. It's sad to say this is only 11 episodes, I mean technically like 14 with the first one, but there's just so much to say. I've watched the first episode already, I shit you not, 5 times. Just ridiculous, and every time I see more and I cry more, and it is just a disaster. But I digress. It's just so good. I can't wait till this is all done. I'm going to do a speed run, and then I'm going to write a review on the full picture of it, the second complete run through. But other than that, updates, I will be doing a 2-episode Demon Slayer for season 3 on Sunday because I missed this week, and honestly this week's episode was kind of weak, so I'm hoping next week pulls up a little bit, do a 2-episode review and call it a day. And other than that, that's about all I have to say for the day. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and if you feel like subscribing, that'd be totally cool. I appreciate it. And as always, this has been Squids, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.